keep mistakenly assuming that the cheaters are on the same team. However, the cheaters' diversions and vagaries are intentional, utterly manufactured so they can pursue their own agenda. There is a reason cheaters don't share their playbooks with their spouses. They're not on the same team. Keeping chumps in the dark lets them win and keeps chumps at a disadvantage. When I was deep in the nightmare of my former marriage, I noticed another peculiar thing about the infidelity experience. The vast majority of infidelity resources were pro-reconciliation. It seemed there was an entire cottage industry peddling false hope about affair-proofing one's marriage. There was absolutely no place that was saying, "Leave the jerk, you'll feel a lot better for it." And no one was pointing out an obvious, sad truth. You cannot save your marriage by yourself. You can't control other people. You can only control yourself. You cannot cajole people out of affairs by being a better spouse. All the weight loss, sex tips, and self-help will not prevent people from driving their life into a ditch if they are so inclined. And it's just crazy optimistic to think that a cheater, especially a serial cheater, will undergo a character transplant. Who were these mythical people who truly felt their marriages were stronger thanks to infidelity? The boards I read were full of sad, twitchy people lamenting the lack of trust in their marriages. Reconciliation seemed overhyped, oversold, and exceedingly rare. Where were the stories of people who left cheaters and found happier lives? It just seemed to me that there was a gaping hole in the resources. Nothing I read spoke to my experience that leaving a cheater was the sanest, healthiest thing I ever did. My world got brighter and better the minute I laid that burden down. I started my blog, Chump Lady, chumplady.com, in 2012 to give chumps their own playbook and explain the manipulations of cheaters. At the time, I'd been divorced several years and happily remarried to a fellow chump. I wanted Chump Lady to be a place that was not focused on saving marriages, but rather a haven for chumps to save their sanity. I began collecting people's success stories. I started a forum so chumps could compare notes, and I set out to change the language surrounding infidelity, dispensing with wayward and betrayed spouse. No more euphemisms. In this book, I use the word cheater. Poor wayward sounds like a dim-witted soul who got lost and wandered into a snowbank. Cheater, on the other hand, is an adult with agency who makes choices. I also prefer the term chump to the soppy, betrayed spouse. You're more than the experience of being betrayed, and some chumps aren't spouses. A chump is a trusting soul who was played for a fool. There are no chumps without con artists. The good news is that chumpdom isn't a permanent condition. Once you figure out that the game is rigged, you can leave the table. Cheaters may have their playbook, but now you will have yours. Welcome. 1. Rejection is not your superpower. Cheaters get all the glory. When infidelity is portrayed in movies, novels, or made-for-TV dramas, cheaters are the tortured protagonists, sexy taboo breakers, compelled by forces greater than themselves to love the forbidden other. Tragic affairs are the stuff of pathos and romance. Oh, the crushing indecision, being torn between two lovers, thwarted by the cruel, cruel forces of monogamy. Poor cheaters. All they seek is happiness. And can you fault happiness? Left off stage, standing in the curtain's shadow, is the chump, the